Hi, I'm Robert Vafai, broker at Maui Property, and today we're going to go through and explain why the purchase contract is the most important document used during a real estate transaction here on Maui. You can find a copy of the purchase contract by going to our website, mauiproperty.com, and then touching on buyer resource information right next to our logo. Go down 4 bullet points and you'll see buyer's purchase contract agreement explained, and touch the upper right hand corner. The entire contract will pop up. There you go. You can make the screen as large as you want. And you'll find that page 1, we'll just start with that, has a lot of blanks in it. Most of these blanks are filled in and they're self-explanatory, so we're just going to cover the most important terms today. If you have any questions, you can call me or any one of our agents with comments or specific questions. So page 1 is a tax map key, or TMK, and agency. Let's go to page 2. Page 2 covers the most important part of the contract, the purchase price. Let's make sure that you've discussed and reviewed with your agent all the comparable and sold properties so that you are sure that the price you are offering is as close to the current market value as possible. In C2, the earnest money deposit, first one, is typically 1.5% to 3% of the purchase price. Underneath that, we fill in additional down payment and the loan amount, or all cash if you're paying cash. These are outlined in C2. Remember, in today's highly competitive market, overlist price offers are very common. Price will get you terms, and terms will get you price. Price speaks, as does a clean and uncomplicated contract. And make sure you balance your needs and wants with those of the other party. Next to each paragraph of the purchase contract on our website, you'll see detailed notes in the squares that will go through each of the fields that we're filling in. You can scroll through these and read these closely on your own time. We've paid a lot of attention to the purchase contract and put a lot of notes here. Let's go to section F, closing dates. Average closing date is about 45 days, longer for certain types of loans or if there are seller and buyer needs, and shorter if you're paying cash. Just be aware that title has to have time to process the escrow and title, verify funds, and record. There is an option in F3 for an automatic extension of time, normally 10 days if needed. So let's go to F4. All the major escrow and title companies do essentially the same job and are competent. If you or the seller or one of the agents might have a relationship that could dictate whom you use, let's go with those people. Moving on to section G. Please read title and everything it entails to understand what the title and title insurance covers. After that is section F. This is where we verify funds and outline timeframes for the loan. Talk to your agent and especially your lender to make sure that you understand these conditions completely and can match and meet all the timeframes. It's worth noting that after the purchase contract, the most important part of the PC is section J. That's inspection clause. Read it closely and make sure you understand it completely. Normally under section J, you have typically 14 to 20 days to do your general inspection. This is where you hire a licensed property inspector to review all the aspects of the property, and we highly recommend you do this. Don't just walk it yourself. Hire a professional. This is your opportunity to really get to know the property you're buying. The roof, floor, crawl space, plumbing, electrical, waste systems, drainage, and everything about the property should be looked at and reviewed closely. This is your opportunity to know exactly what it is you're buying. And if you're not satisfied, even if you've signed the as-is addendum, you can disapprove and terminate the contract. So use this opportunity wisely. Understand your options, understand your property, review the findings with your agent and the home inspector, and if you need to, ask for additional time or additional experts to review any of the findings that come up. Don't be petty either. No 40-year home is perfect. Like people, all properties are different and the pros and cons run all over the place. You have to make sure that the property you're making a commitment to is a property that you understand and that you can see yourself owning for a long time. There's so much we can cover on the inspection that it would be worth doing a separate video just on this topic, which is coming up at a future time. Let's quickly skip to K and L. If in doubt, opt for a survey and opt for a termite report, just standard. Let's go on to section O. Section O covers your timeframes, conditions, and contingencies that can lead to the termination of the contract. Take particular attention to O3. Remember, sometimes there are speed bumps in the transactions. Things happen, things come up. But if everybody's intentions are good, dates and times can be adjusted to accommodate the problems that might come up. Remain flexible, keep it unemotional, work with everyone towards a good closing. Also, remember that if you do have a legitimate cause to get out of the contract and cancel, review the contract, review this option with your agent and any advisors, refer to everything that is in writing, and make sure you proceed with caution and reason. Nobody wants to get into a big legal mess. Now, after the price, inspection, and the other terms we've just covered, let's skip to section Q. Section Q is special terms, and it's worth a mention. This is where we put anything unique about the property or the transaction or either the parties in the transaction that is worth pointing out and putting everybody on notice. This might be if the buyer has another property to sell that on the mainland, let's say, that needs to be closed on before this contract can be completed. Or you might have an automatic escalation clause in a multiple offer bidding situation that would go here too. Things as mundane as leaving a yurt on the property or a lawnmower, riding lawnmower, those might be put in here too. Maybe something like parking a shipping container 5 days prior to the close of escrow with the seller's permission and maybe for a fee, and a use clause might be put in here so that the buyer, if they have stuff coming over from the mainland, can get it onto the property. Anything can go into this section Q. And finally, on the last page, let's make sure that all the parties in the transaction are clearly identified and sign this last page. Remember, this contract is covered in full on our website. You've just been looking at it. Take the time to read the notes. These are things that are important to both the buyer and the seller. Be familiar with it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Share it with your friends and feel free to reach out to us directly with questions or comments. Huge aloha from MauiProperty.com.